Thank you for joining us, Big Guns Joe. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, buddy. Hope you guys are all right. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're
Good,
good,
man.
thank you.
Like Callum said before we started recording, I could have reeled off the stats, but we all know that you're enormous. You know,
I mean,
we
if
don't.
people, yeah. Do you know what? If people need reminding, it's 76,521 grams and then 1,678.4 millimeters tall. So there you go.
0.4. That
0.4.
makes all the difference.
I make sure everyone knows that on show. So.
So how's life at the minute, mate? I know it's a tricky world at the moment. How you doing? With there's no wrestling really.
Well, just trying to get in the best shape as possible. Keep continuing doing that. I'm also a personal trainer at a gym, Total Fitness, so I've been able to get a little bit of equipment here and there. So it's been quite fortunate with that. I obviously with coaching people, I have a coach as well. So I am the biggest henchest guy in British wrestling, but the biggest henchest guy in British wrestling does have a coach as well. So
Wow.
he gets a lot of that as well. Like I say, like the young guns, both young guns are on it. Tom Thelwell's on it. A lot of the lads especially from the northwest, because Nush, my coach, he initially was a wrestler as well, so he actually had a hand in my initial training at Grand Pro Wrestling. Yeah, it's kind of full circle, and I've known him for a long time. So he's helped get us in the best, kind of give us the tools so we can get in the best shapes as possible for when wrestling does come back. People can be like, oh, they've worked hard, and that's all we saw really.
A lot of people I've spoken to have been saying like they're trying to make a silver lining out of this time off, because there's so much time you can use to improve yourself right now or work on things that you wouldn't have got the time to work on before. Is there anything that you're focusing on right now which you haven't had time to previously?
Well, I think to do with because with how wrestling was, I was just riding the wave. A lot of me and the lads that are from the northwest, we were getting out there a lot. Be it going over to get a chance to go over to Ireland, wrestling for the companies we aspired to, getting out there, bigger companies, just it got to a point where Ethan Allen, I'd see him 5 days a week, no, 6 days a week, sorry. And I love him, he's one of my best mates, but bloody hell, he's annoying in car journey. I'm only messing, it's me the one, but obviously because I'm the one that mainly drives, but we'd be training at likes of Fighting Spirit and Future Shock, where we initially started training and things as well, and then we'd have shows Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or there'd be different shows within the week as well, and it was mad, absolutely mad. I was drama teaching for a little while beforehand, and then I kind of stopped that to get to because it was just all got too much, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting to a point now where I just need to focus on wrestling, and that's what I did. But going back to your original question, sorry, I'll go on. I feel me personally, I've done quite a few different things, be it obviously building up a bit of a business in total doing personal training at Total Fitness, and I'm doing all right at that. It's picking up some steam with that. I did a bit of care work and stuff as well, due to with Alex with learning difficulties, because I'd never got a chance to do that, and I thought, I'll give that a go, and did a bit of that as well. And just working on myself, be it character, be it what can I do next. I've got a lot of good people around me, continuously, be it Chris Sharp, Tyson T, a lot, and the list would go on. But where I can kind of be well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? How would you feel about this when I come back? And they're just almost just kind of sitting back and being right now I've got the time to, where can I go? Because if I come back and obviously people are going to want to see similar things of what I've done.
Yeah.
Use this time to improve, then they'll be well, what's the point in either using Joe or booking Joe, or because we've already seen everything.
Yeah.
I'm capable of a lot more, as time's gone on. So I can't wait to kind of get back and show people not necessarily the new me, but the more improved Big Guns Joe. So yeah.
Do you feel like there's any pressure on the talent? So like when wrestling returns, that they've got to be a bit different or a bit improved or anything like that?
Necessarily, because it's always an ongoing process. For me personally, I will probably put a lot of pressure on myself, and a lot of the other lads probably agree with them doing that for themselves. Not necessarily pressure, from people, but it's just, I think, being around people that want to be the best and want to do the best that they can possibly can, and show that, show either, promotions or wanting to get to the next level, be it, tryouts, things like that, there's going to be always be a lot of pressure on yourself. And now we've had the time to have a lot more time to reflect and kind of really kind of put the pieces together rather than, be like, right, I've got 3 shows this week and I'm going to train this here and then do this here. And then, which is also very good. Like, I would not change that. I'm so fortunate to have been in the position I was and, work where I have already, work the numerous, like, I look back on like Instagram and stuff where I was and I was working like independent shows from like some weeks, like Tuesday through to Sunday. And I'm like, how has that worked out? And that's not me going, oh, look at me, but it's one of them where it's like, it just became so normal and, and kind of just the norm thing to have every week. And I was loving it. But at the same time, like this time has been used to kind of reflect and be like, right, like I was saying before, what's best to go forward and how we can, keep changing the game and seeing what's been next for me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned a few of those guys who you've trained with. I know you've also trained with James Drake and Zach Gibson as well. I mean, what was it like learning from those 2 guys?
It's a whole nother level, honestly. Like, I got my initial training and, I'd started training in a few different places. Well, those guys, they know exactly what they're doing. They're continuously changing the game. They're creating waves, and they're in NXT now for a reason. Yeah. And just getting a chance to, even if it was once, a lot of times it was twice a week to get down there. Drive to Maggle where the training center is, and just listening to them. It was just because for me, I think personally, I was so stuck on one way of wrestling. So they kind of expanded my knowledge, and 2 kind of was like, well, how do you feel about, trying this with your gimmick or trying this with your character or, just a whole kind of just more gritty kind of style of wrestling where, is what I needed because, I don't want to do the same style of match all the time. I don't want to be, maybe pigeonholed as a certain type of wrestler. Although that's got me so far, I don't feel like that would be, the best to kind of continue on. I want to be able to show that I'm capable of a lot more, and I feel like getting the chances to learn from them for at least a year and a half before they've obviously gone over to America now. I feel like it was invaluable.
Well, they're both Future Shock graduates, I believe, aren't they? Yeah. So first time I heard of Zach Gibson, he had long hair, wrestling at Future Shock. A lot's changed since then, but he's done great for himself. I mean, Future Shock's a great school. It's one of those staple schools that's been around for a long time now. I think it used to really just be the FWA school and Future Shock, and now there's training schools everywhere. So it must be cool for you. Yeah, you're from Manchester, I believe, having that training school in your back garden.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, like, we obviously try and get about as much as possible because you just want to learn from everyone. But having Future Shock and having kind of coming into there initially, I think it's been there 2 years now. Wild, like when I debuted at Future Shock. See, it does like that, goes like that, and it's But and getting the chance to kind of because I initially started training at Grand Pro, which was one of the main places. But then I think they'll be coming back once everything goes back to normal. But Future Shock wise, turning up there and not knowing, kind of that was a mainstay of the British wrestling scene. Obviously, I was aware of it. I didn't realize how many people had come from that school, and getting the chance to work with the likes of all of them, and then also, having continuous training from Sam Bailey, who's been, in British wrestling for a long, long time, and he is basically the staple of the Northwest.
Yeah. And
well.
Joey Hayes as well, right? Joey Hayes is such an underrated talent. I absolutely love Joey.
He actually, he will come over to me at a show, he'd only be like, try this, pal. There you go, pal. And I'm like,
yeah. A great impression.
I love Joey, and as I say, it's really cool because I've come quite close with a lot of these guys who, for example, Tyson T-Bone, when I first started, I would never think that I would be able to just go and train with him in a gym and just have a laugh with him. Same with Joey. He's as I say, he's been a staple of British wrestling and so vastly underrated. And I hope that, in the next few years, that, he just, gets the chance to just do all he wants to do.
Yeah.
At the same time, he's very humble as well, and so are a lot of the guys. It's been a very good learning experience to understand and kind of be like, no, they're not the type of guys who, will kind of be like, oh, look at us, they keep doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoying themselves, and that's exactly what I want to do with wrestling as well.
Yeah, and another place as well. Obviously, we have to touch on it because me and Callum are both from we're in Hull, we're Hull boys. NGW is our promotion. We know Nathan Cruz. Callum's really good friends with Nathan. What's your experiences of NGW and obviously working with Nathan been like?
Yeah, all class as well. I mean, I got a chance to do Wrestleverse as well, which was kind of like a different kind of style of thing that NGW do. But just being around those guys, you know, that you got Rampage, Brown would be them, which was there kind of consistently, you know. All the NGW guys, Robbie X as well, you know, great talent. Cruz, yeah, great talent, you know. It was just kind of nice because when I first kind of started training there, it was very, you know, I was only used to kind of being within kind of, you know, WrestlePro, which is now Pinfall, or Future Shark, being kind of this kind of the Northwest. So it was kind of almost like a period of starting to get myself out there a bit more. So, but no, I really enjoyed it. And to say working for NGW, it was cool because the production values are always really, really good. So it was really nice. I'm not saying everywhere else. I mean, like, you know, everywhere's got like, you know, they're almost like game changing where they're making it, you know, better and improving continuously. But I just say with the way they kind of would set the whole kind of show up and the way, you know, and that whole kind of WrestleGate experience, like you look at like how it was just a sports hall, but how they turned that sports hall into like an arena. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that it was just a really good place to work, and you know, they've done so much, and they are a big part of British wrestling. So having that kind of staple to be there, you know, it was just a really good experience. Hopefully, you know, when things go back to normal, they can come back and, you know,
Absolutely.
do what.
Yeah, it's such a shame for many promotions, obviously, all doing such great work in 2019. I feel like British wrestling's just been on the up and up for the last 5 to 6 years. You know, it kind of came out of nowhere, this British wrestling boom period. I feel like at one point there was just the FWA, and then the next day there was 20 promotions. So,
like what you know, Joey and like Danny Hope and their kind of perspectives on it, where you know, because they're still quite, you know, they've still got a long time left in the business, but just seeing it, they're the you know, the initial kind of, they're the founders almost, because, you know, they're used to wrestling in front of, like, what, you know, when they first started wrestling.
Yeah, they were the lifeline, really, weren't they? They kept it going when it was in a very rough period, British wrestling. They kept it going. Joey Hayes, Bubblegum, Chris Travis, they were the ones who kept it afloat. What do you think it was really that started the British wrestling boom? Was it just that so many more schools opened up producing even more talent, or was it just a demand for it?
I honestly, I have no idea, but, you know, obviously you had so many talented people that it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I started training when I was 19. I'm 26 now, but
You're a baby.
Don't say it like that's old, mate. We're both older than you. So.
You know, you've got like young guns and like us too, who are like 19, 20, and you're like, you know, holding on with like same group, but no, you know, I've got back to time, don't worry. But yeah, you know, I kind of saw it all unfold as I started training. Because I started training in 2000, and do the quick math, what we are now, 2021. So it was like 2013, 14 when I first started, debuted in 2015. So, you know, it was kind of just seeing it all unfold, because, you know, I wasn't fully aware of everything. But, excuse me, that's that monster. I wasn't fully aware of everything. I knew that was going to come back to get me. As doors opened, where you were kind of like expanding out there, you know, getting to new training schools, getting to know new people, you know, you were kind of becoming more aware. And then as I was more aware of new places, you know, I mean, older places like have been running for a long time, newer places started opening up, you know, I was more kind of aware of, like, you know, really, really talented people in, like, say, London, or, you know, Midlands, Scotland, you name it, Ireland as well. Like, I'm really close with a lot of the Irish guys. And had, you know, when I've been over there, you know, they've been lucky enough for them to, like, you know, house me for a little bit and stuff like that. Which the best thing about wrestling is, I feel like, you know, no matter where you are, there's always somebody there that, you know, you get on with really well, and, you know, you can talk to and confide in, and, even just, just hang out with and enjoy the time with. That's what I love about wrestling so much, because when it comes back, a lot of us do say this, when it comes back, I'm just really looking forward to like the car journeys.
Yeah.
It's like long, 5 hours, it doesn't matter. Like I used to drive when I was driving, I did a lot for like IPW towards the latter end before lockdown, and like Fight Nation and stuff. And it was always like a 5 hour journey or whatever, and it was like, it's so long, whatever. But I got to a point where I was saying to a few of them, I was like, I'd kill for like 3 of them in a row right now. I don't care.
I miss them so much that I'm just going to shows in the car. Listen, me and Callum will do road trips, and our friend, you might know Kev Cash from NGW, was one of our best friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What a guy.
The three of us always do road trips, and like you said, man, I'd give anything for one of those right now. Absolutely. I miss it so much. We've got to talk about as well, because we had Charles Crowley and Clementine on a couple of days ago. What was your thoughts on that? You are cordially invited to being a part of that.
I loved it for many reasons. One, because it gave us something to sink our teeth into, because obviously not a lot had been happening at the time. Crowley, I've gotten to know Crowley really well as of recently, before that, and he's so creative, and he's something I think that British wrestling are really lucky to have as well, purely just because of how creative he is in the background. He has, like, I've got a theatre background, like I've got a degree in theatre, but he kind of and whatnot, and done bits of plays, bits of TV work here and there. But he's kind of, that's his bread and butter. I stopped to pursue wrestling. Now he's coming from more of that background into wrestling, and I feel like he's a very vital part of wrestling now, purely because he could offer a lot as well. And he did that for a lot of us, and I think a lot of us are very, very grateful for, one, just getting a chance to be around everyone again, and not only that, actually do something that's a bit outside the box, not just like wrestling. Like, you might wrestle for TV, you might wrestle, in front of crowds, whatever. But this was like a production about wrestling. Right.
Yeah.
And another thing that was really nice was I was able to kind of, back and forth with him, having that kind of theatre background, and talk about things more in depth that maybe that he maybe not do with a few other people, or he wouldn't expect to have done, if you know what I mean. So, but no, the whole day was awesome. Driving down to Milton Keynes, getting to see everyone. Just the whole filming process. It was a long day, but he looked after us. The whole crew looked after us so well. Provided food and whatnot, drinks and everything. And again, kind of creative wise, it was just really, really fun to sink your teeth into. So
he did actually mention about the drinks and the food and stuff. He said, I looked after him. I made sure there was drinks and food, and they were so thankful. Everyone was going crazy about the food and stuff, and he was like, It shows how bad British wrestling at times when they're excited over crisps and water.
I think for me, obviously, because like I do a lot of meal prep stuff now anyway.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like I'll just have my big Tupperware boxes of food or whatever. But as I say, I don't know. I think it was just because that's a normality when it comes to like TV stuff or like film stuff, because that's just was the norm. But I think when wrestling comes back, that there'll be a whole different kind of setup to that. There were fair few places were doing that, like
I heard about that.
And I'm very fortunate when I worked, everywhere I worked, looked after me, looked after all the other guys, and always treated me really nicely, and always basically give, if I regarding like pay and everything was sound. And I've had a very, very good experience with wrestling, as I say, but I feel like it's only just going to grow when we come back, because at the end of the day, we all need to look after each other.
Absolutely.
Oh, go on, Jamie.
No, I'm saying, you said about obviously wrestling on TV and stuff. Is the goal for you eventually NXT UK?
Of course. Like I'm a lot of the guys that are on there have worked very hard, and they're putting on amazing matches, and just the whole setup for NXT UK I think is awesome, and it'd be really to be a part of. It's just a case of as of when I'd like to all I'm going to do is just keep grafting, keep going, keep getting out there until if the opportunity comes up, I'll just go 110% with it. As I say, like I know a lot of the guys that are there. I'm very quite close to a lot of the guys that are there as well. So hopefully that just keep seeing what they're looking for, or what maybe it's best to do, keep going forward. But as I say, if I just keep trying to make noise, hopefully they'll hear me.
That's it. Make as much noise as you can. We loved you in there, mate, because like I said, when we saw you at WrestleGate, you were the highlight of the show. I think you'd be incredible at NXT UK, and I'm sure Callum agrees with me.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask is, when I first saw you at WrestleGate, you reminded me slightly of. Have you ever watched Bro Science with Don Mazzetti?
I love Bro Science.
Man, that's what all I could think of was like the Bro Science kind of guy. Did you take any inspiration from the Bro Science guy?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I love Bro Science anyway, and he gets where he doesn't bring a video out for like 4 weeks, and then he'll make a joke of it, and that would always pop me. But I mean, of course, like there's various different, and it keeps evolving. Like say, for where kind of the character I was when I first started is not the character I will be now, or was pandemic, or carrying forward. But as I say, yeah, definitely, there's lots of different stuff. Be it kind of just the noises he'd make when he was doing car race. I'm saved on my phone of him going like tap tap as he was doing the
noise. Super set.
Remember that?
I love it, man.
Well, no, yeah.
I have no idea what you two are talking about at the moment.
I'll just watch it. I mean, like the good thing about you is that you've got like 5-6 years of videos, where it's not that many considering, because you do like one a month because of YouTube.
Right.
But as I say, it's so good.
Have you ever seen him out of kayfabe?
Yeah, he's on the channel like.
Yeah, it's so weird seeing him be normal. I don't like it.
He's not got like the "Get at Me" headband. It's not.
Yeah, I've got that headband. I got the Empire Lifts Back T-shirt with the headband. But yeah, I don't like seeing him out of kayfabe, so to speak. In my head, he's just this arrogant douchebag dick from the gym, and that's how it's got to stay. But yeah, I've got to ask that. As soon as I saw you, I was like, this guy's a bit like Don Mazzetti.
No, I've ruined it now. Everyone knows the secrets now. But yeah, definitely him, like Crash Holly, initially, like Spike Dudley, those kind of guys. Just the smaller guys, Rockstar Sport.
Yeah.
A lot of different people like that, because I'm only 5'6", guys. All right.
Dude. So am I. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm still taller though, right?
Obviously.
But no, like it's all these different kind of, which is awesome, because I can keep continuously learning, evolving my character. But initially, all these kinds of people. Like when I first started, I was kind of doing like the high flying kind of stuff, which you never know, might bring out occasionally. You'll see. We'll see what happens. But, as I say, it got to a point where I kind of sat down with a couple of guys, and they were like, "No, maybe try this," and I was like, "Okay, give it a go," and then it hit the ground running from there. So I'll always be grateful for that kind of initial kind of, like a Crash Holly style kind of thing, and it's like, we'll see what happens. But as I say, I'm very fortunate to have got to where I am now, and the sky's the limit, I feel, for a lot of guys now. So it's kind of just where we go from here, and I'm excited to get back and start doing stuff. Obviously, when the time's right, but it's a case of when the time's right, how prepared we be. So
I think it's great how you kind of put a spin on the Crash Holly thing, though, because he'd come in at like allegedly 400 pounds, whereas you coming as a factually correct height and weight, it's technically correct. It just sounds like it's stupid. Like I absolutely love it.
100%. I think for me is that I wanted to be like almost like project like it's real. It is real to me. Everyone, like, say for example, like if people are goofing around and stuff like that, say within like a match, or different characters bouncing off each other, if they're the goof, I'll be like, no, you're the goof, I'm real. But yeah, in that kind of thing, that everyone's like, no, you're the goof because you think that's real, that kind of thing. Yeah. It's just kind of all from there. So I will be as straight as possible, like, no, I am this way, I can do this, and then people.
It's true. You are that way.
Yeah. And obviously, before we start to wrap it up as well, I guess we have to finish on. Obviously, you mentioned WrestleGate. You were there for the Adam Page Pac match. I mean, what was it like there during the day? I mean, was you aware that Page was there?
I think if I remember correctly, I believe there was going to. Do I remember? I wasn't 100%. I'll tell you that. I was a bit kind of unsure, but again, that whole concept of that, one, was really good for WrestleGate, and and two, British wrestling in general, because it shows that British wrestling isn't something to be kind of just passed by. With a lot of people want to come over here, and a lot of people kind of realize that British wrestling's making a lot of noise and will continue to make a lot of noise going forward. With NXT UK, be it all the independent companies, whatever. But yeah, I feel that it showed that British wrestling can and are capable of holding such a match, even if it is a kind of a big kind of match from two. Well, say obviously Pax English is from Newcastle, but you know what I mean, from an American brand, like.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's an awesome experience, and I feel that the fans were, not necessarily very lucky. Obviously, they were very lucky because of what the actual match was. It's a big high stakes kind of important match.
Yeah, I won't mention who it was, but there was somebody in the locker room at the back of that show, and when Adam Page came out, I texted him saying, "Adam Page is here. How can you tell me?" And replied back saying, "Who's Adam Page?"
Oh wow.
I won't.
It's just what it is. I mean, at the end of the day,
I was like, really? I won't tell you who it is.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I think if you want to, try and get out and try and, for me personally, I kind of want to, know what's going on everywhere, just so I'm aware. If you know what I mean,
yep.
Be which wrestlers, which companies are doing what, just so I can get the feel for it. So when if you get the opportunity to wrestle for said place, you don't want to go in and be like, oh, I don't know anything. You want the people to know that you're aware of what the place is, and if you're able to work there, that it is a big deal, or it's.
Oh yeah. So Adam Page did try to steal my boots actually at the end of that show when he was doing the meet and greet, because I was wearing a pair of cowboy boots and he was trying very hard to get me to swap those for the wrestling boots he had on. That wasn't happening.
He had a 40-minute match, and at the end of it, when he was doing that meet and greet, all I could think of is, how do you still smell so good? He smelled like oranges. I was like,
It's fair enough for you to smell them. I mean, I'm sure.
I wanted to tell him, but I didn't want to be one of those wrestling fans. So.
Right. Well, now.
I do regret not giving him my boots, though. I should have swapped. That could have been a story for life. Swapping boots about, yeah.
Cowboy boots, to be honest, but it's a look I could pull off. I live in gym gear, so.
Yeah, he was trying hard to get them, but I'm like, no, I'm not having your sweaty wrestling boots, dude. It's not happening. Maybe next time. But
Bring us so you can off and then put anyway.
It's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. When we told you that you are one of the most entertaining guys in wrestling today, we mean it. You had us hooked the first time you had us. Like we said, our friend Rivers, you had him hooked. You're doing something right. I mean, you really are, man. But before you go as well, I mean, tell everybody where they can find your social media and your merch. I'd say upcoming shows, but I think we're a bit stuck at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Instagram at Big Guns Joe, Twitter at Benchmark Big Joe. But yeah, give us a follow. Drop us. It's calling me like a dweeb or something, and I'll be like, come on, guys, it's not fair. But no, I mean, like, it's really cool to see like how especially with social media, like how fans enjoy stuff. Whereas, like, say for example, like especially the cordially invited stuff, like it was expanded and it was really awesome. People like really care about it. But yeah, as I say, shows wise, not sure at the moment. But when it happens, we'll look out for it. Big Gun shows coming to make waves, and I'm sure that a lot of guys will be up to doing the same. And I feel like when British wrestling finally comes back, it'll be a whole new level.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Could not agree more. Like you said, cordially invited was amazing. It made you realise how much fun wrestling can be.
Oh,
really did, man. But yeah, man, we can't thank you enough. We'll definitely get you back on again at some point down the road, because This was just so much fun, man. We can't thank you enough.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, man. Big Guns Joe. We are Insiders.
There we go.